It. Good afternoon. We are back with the Strawberry Sundaes podcast. We have the man, myth, legend, YouTube legend, should I say, Sniper. God, my bad. We're having audio issues. Stream, I apologise there. Dan also, I apologise there.
That's right.
Both had some issues there. Yeah, sorry, Dan. If you could just repeat that bit.
Is it working now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can hear you guys now. Yeah.
Yeah. So my name's Dan. A lot of people know me as iBLaCKOuTz. I'm a sniper and content creator. I've been around for about 13 years making content. Was one of the first sort of big COD 4 YouTubers to start making montages and the big sort of long length montages and sniping videos. So yeah, I had a long break from about 2013 to 2020, and I've just sort of come back to the scene now. So that's about it, really.
Right, so we'll go right back to the start then.
Yeah.
So your main game, or from what I know you from, is your COD 4 montages.
Yeah.
So was that your first ever Call of Duty, or did you play the ones prior to that?
I played COD 2, which was, I didn't really play it online. I played a lot of campaign games back then. The first actually online game I played was Halo. You probably obviously know Halo from the original Xbox. But yeah, my first proper COD was COD 4. That was the one which I sort of made me fall in love with COD and stuff. But yeah, I obviously, Big Red 1, Call of Duty Big Red 1, I played that campaign. But yeah, it started at COD 4.
And so you say you play Call of Duty 2. I
Yeah.
have no idea what console that was on. What
Oh, mate, no, I think I played it, or was it
would that have been?
PS1?
PlayStation 1 or 2?
Yeah, I think
I'm
it was
guessing
one.
was that campaign only then? I'm guessing.
I think COD 2 was online. You could play it online because I played some competitive COD 2
Okay.
online when I started playing Pro Mod and stuff on COD 4. So
Right.
it was quite a big game online, COD 2. That's where sort of like the competitive Call of Duty sort of scene started.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, it for me, I only played it campaign personally.
And how old were you when that came out?
Oh god, it must have come out. COD 2 must have been 2005. I must have been early teens. I must have been young. I must have been young.
So COD 4 was your game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people within the chat that have seen your montages online. I think the end was the biggest one
Yeah.
to date in terms of views. Which guys, if you've not watched it, go back. Old school montages. This guy is the one. Yeah, I always fanboy over him. He knows it. He knows it as well. So we'll go into sort of your content journey. So you started, obviously, you did your main sort of your YouTubing within COD 4.
Yeah.
If we go from there and we just go through the COD titles and just kind of explain sort of your content journey.
Yeah. So it started back in when the game first came out, 2007. I played the game for actually 22 days before I even started making content. I was like a massive sweat on the game, like big time sweat. I was playing a lot of game battles and things like that. So my gamer tag was originally, I think it was iBLaCKOuTz, because I was a massive nerd playing game battles and stuff. M16s, MP5s, things like that. And then obviously the content side of stuff sort of started getting known on the YouTube and other platforms and stuff. And then I think the first person I watched was Dominator. I don't know if you remember Dominator from back in the day. Really old school name.
Yeah, it does ring a bell.
Yeah, he was from 2007. I think he actually posted or something late 2007 when the game first come out. And I remember watching it and I was like, wow, like I can do this. Like I was a sweat. Like my KD was high. Like I can do this. What they're doing. So I started sniping a hell of a lot more and started. I asked my parents for a Dazzle, which most of you probably know what a Dazzle is.
Yeah.
But the original one, which I actually got, was the Easy Cap. I don't know if you remember the Easy Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I couldn't get working in color, which was an absolute pain. So I had to. The week after that, I actually had got the Dazzle, which took an absolute age to set up because back then, there wasn't a lot of YouTube tutorials and videos on how to set this sort of stuff up. But yeah, I think I started maybe early 2008, mid 2008, actually making videos. Which my first one was a sniping montage called, I think it was Flawless, You know, didn't think anything of it. Didn't really get many views. Made some great friends from doing it. So yeah, that was probably the COD 4 where it first started, and then I think it started really growing towards maybe early 2009 when I released Genocide and Genocide V2. That's when I started putting in the views, and I thought, wow, like from making videos for fun, from now like putting in like 100,000 views a video, I'm like, wow, this is starting to blow up. Like we're actually making an
Mm.
impact in the community here. So yeah, after Genocide, then it come the end, which that montage means the most to me personally because it was the end of COD 4 for me. Apart from playing Pro Mod, which I'm guessing that you guys know what Pro Mod is. Yeah, that was pretty much it for COD 4 for me. I mean, I played it all the way up to 2012 playing competitive Pro Mod, but it just sort of died out, man. Like there's still people playing sniper lobbies and making content on it now, but it's
Mm.
just sort of like there's so much being done on that game. I feel like there's not much more you can do or hit on it. Personally, I feel. Um, so that's COD
Yeah,
4.
yeah, no, I get that. I think that, there's only so many years afterwards that you can play that game
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
And if you're thinking of content-wise, there's only so much of an audience that you're going to get from
yeah.
playing those old school
Oh,
games.
100%, 100%.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that still play COD 4, like you say through pro mods and them, but only play it for like just a couple of hours, just quick
Yeah,
like to sort of reminisce and don't really create content on it anymore.
no, no.
Um, so if we go from your videos, like say from Call of Duty 4, so you're still quite young.
Yeah.
Um, when those videos hit huge amount of views, how how was that in terms of like? Because I'm guessing you were still in school. Like what?
I actually just left school at the time.
Okay.
I left school. I was, I think I just turned 16 when I really started. Obviously, COD 4 come. I think it was the year I left school was 2008, and that's when I started making the videos. But it started popping off so much that I actually didn't go for a job straight away. So I didn't go to college. Like this was what I sort of like. My dad believed in what I'd done because the amount of views he saw I was getting. I mean, I had 30,000 or nearly 40,000 subs by 2009, which back then was huge. It was
Yeah.
huge. Like if I carried on now, I mean, my friends who I played with back then, like Zerka, and I mean, they run the Sidemen now. Like if I
Mm,
if I didn't stop, I think it would have been a different story, and I wouldn't be working on building
yeah.
sites and stuff. But yeah, I was very young. I was very like I was very thankful for all the people who watched my videos. Like I never had an ego. I was very humble with what I'd done. But yeah, I was 16 at the time when it all started really blowing up, which I think's a little bit young. I feel like some of the people who was 16 at the time and carried on doing it, they sort of didn't, they didn't have that break and have that IRL sort of, going out with your friends. They've sort of fame hit them kind of hard from a young age. I think that's where the ego started to grow. So I'm sort of thankful I stopped and sort of learned some life lessons along the way.
Yeah. So what year was it that you stopped? What COD title?
Oh God, it was 2000 and mid 2012 is when I stopped because I played Modern Warfare 2. That was the last one I really enjoyed. But then I went back to play Pro Mod because I played Pro Mod from 2009 to 2012 at a fairly high level. So I just put thousands of hours into that game, man. Like I didn't want to stop
Mm.
playing it. It was just so fun. Um, so yeah, yeah, I'll probably say I can't remember what COD it was. 2012. What COD was that? Because I was playing COD 4,
Um,
I can't even remember.
was it one of the Black Ops,
It must have been
or was
Black
it,
Ops 2.
or was it I, or was it one of the IWs or AWs? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I sort of like
Or they
fell
might
out
have
of
come later on.
I sort of fell out of the loop of that sort of thing. Like, there's a lot of CODs I didn't even play.
Yeah.
Even during that period of time, like they'd come out, I wouldn't even pre-order them. I mean, obviously you guys remember like the back in the day, we used to pre-order a game, you used to go midnight release. It used to be so exciting, but it just got to the point where they just come stale for me, and I was in like the competitive scene. It just wasn't a thing for me.
Yeah. I suppose we. I mean, I started playing in COD 4.
Yeah,
I would have been a bit younger than you playing it. and I think we were very blessed with the games that we got in
Yeah,
terms of COD
100%.
4 and Modern Warfare 2, and then even like games like Modern Warfare 3 was good.
Mod 3, yeah,
Um,
World at War.
yeah,
That
you got all
was
these
one.
good games that were coming out at that sort of time. That when the games started to die out a bit, because there was that period of like I'm not a big fan of like the jetpacks
Yeah, same.
and those sorts of CODs. So when they came out, you had that period of time where it was a bit like you either grind it out and play jetpacks, or you go back and you play Modern
Yeah,
Warfare 2, Mod 3, and COD 4. And I think I did that for like about 5 or 6 years, I think,
yeah.
until we got World War 2, I believe.
I think that's the game I come back to. I come back for like a good 6 months of playing it. I think it was World War Two, 2017 that come out. I come back for 6 months, then I stopped again because the CODs just got worse again.
Yeah. I think I definitely played Black Ops 3.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
trying to work out the dates. I think World War 2 was after that. But that was sort of when I came back to playing like the most recent CODs again.
yeah,
Because like you say, you play through a span and you enjoy that moment of playing those old Call of Duties, but there's nothing new on the game. There's no new like they have now with the battle passes, the seasons, those sorts of things. It was literally the same game
yeah,
for
yeah,
like so many years, and it was something that I played competitive sniper, and I wasn't very good, but that was something that I enjoyed playing. So that keeps you like engaged with that sort of game. I
yeah.
couldn't have just grinded out online, um, or anything like that. But so you said that you come back briefly for World War Two,
Yeah, yeah, I made
and
one
then you
video on
took that. Then you just sort of thing said, that's not for you. Um, then what was the game that you came back after that?
it was I think it was Modern Warfare. I don't even remember if that was after World War. What come out after World? Mate, I'm so out of sync with these games.
Yeah,
It was World War
my
Two,
dates with the games.
and then
I think it was
was it Modern Warfare? I think it might have been Modern Warfare.
I think it was
I think
Modern
it was.
Warfare.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was. I think what I'd done is I stopped. I played World War Two for about 6 months, and then I started playing Fortnite. I think that's what happened. I started playing Fortnite. That's when Fortnite's like the first season come about, and I
Mm.
played that until Modern Warfare dropped, and then that's when I really started making a comeback. And I made obviously Never Know Boys, and thought, you know what, I enjoyed Modern Warfare for quite some time. That's when obviously Warzone come about, and it was just different. That game, I think Fortnite done every Call of Duty a favor in a way by bringing in the battle passes, by bringing in these battle royales. It gave the multiplayer gamers a bit of a break from, if you stress out playing multiplayer, you go, right, we can play zombies, we can play Warzone.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think Fortnite opened the eyes of a lot of battle royales of how it should be conducted and how it should run in terms of like you've got your battle pass, your seasons, your levels,
Yeah.
stuff that you can unlock throughout. Because even like Apex, I think Apex came out after Fortnite, but
Yeah, it did.
they've gone the same sort of route as well. And then like you said, Warzone, all go in the same route as what Fortnite have started.
Yeah.
And I mean, Warzone's coming out to be a huge thing within the community. Which I play pretty much 95% of my
Yeah.
content is Warzone.
Oh, it's been
Um,
massive for the COD scene. I feel like it's revived the COD scene for streamers and stuff anyway.
yeah, I think that with the skill based, especially like snipers, it's ridiculous unless
Yeah.
you are like, you're full on cracked out your mind and you can hit those feeds. But certainly, like just for the enjoyment side of things, you can't just go and relax and chill and just hit a couple of feeds and just have that enjoyment with your
Yeah.
mates anymore,
Yeah,
like back in the day. So I think that sort of ruined that side of things for content wise, because
yeah,
I feel that if they didn't have skill based, especially on like your Modern Warfare and your Cold War, where they've actually got all right snipers, I think that if you take skill based out, you'd have a hell of a lot more people that would be doing the montages, like your feeding sort
yeah.
of. You'll have those content creators, whereas it's kind of like a
Yeah, it's
dying
very theme
scene, which
park
isn't
now.
yeah, which isn't a good thing to see, because I started my sort of getting into love of Call of Duty and enjoying. streaming and content and that through people like yourself, Grizz, Zerka back in the day, making those montages and looking at them and thinking like that's where you want to aspire to be at, to be able to hit those, you know, no scope cross map, or you just anything like that's what that we used to. I mean, a lot of me and my friends used to watch them and be like, let's all load up in a 6-man, let's all try and hit these feeds. And like you say, you don't get that anymore.
No, it's got to cut the fun out of it in a way now. Like there's too much going on in the game. They've added way too much to it. I mean, you think about it now even on Cold War, the amount of different guns you can make with the attachments they've given you now. There's just too much. Like there's too many like metas and too many good guns you can make. Like they nerf something and then there's another attachments will make the gun. It's a never-ending vicious circle on the game. So it's definitely harder now for the sniping community to try and get big. Like, if we didn't stop back in the day, it might have been a different story, but we can't all live in the past. We got to keep going with what we've got now. And, if Warzone's going to do it for you, play Warzone. If you still enjoy doing the sniping stuff, you think you can make something out of it, you just got to go for it now. You just got to go for it. It's a lot harder now. It's a lot harder. It's not even just the content creating side of it. It's the games, what they throw at you. We're always hopeful every year it's going to be better, but we still buy it, and it never is. But we can always wish.
And I think that one big thing in terms of the community now as what it used to be is the support that you get, that we used to get back in the day. Even when, so I got a Dazzle to do competitive sniping, and there was a lot of videos where I was just recording, just so that like when you played like 4v4 clan matches, those sorts of things, you'd record them and put them on like a YouTube, and obviously, but it was people supporting and just dropping us on on YouTube and that kind of thing, and the support that you got from that scene was crazy. Always people liking videos, always dropping a sub if they've not already. Now it's like, especially with like Twitch, there's so many people that like you follow on like Twitter or that you sub to on YouTube, for example, that you don't follow on Twitch, that you don't follow on TikTok, that you don't follow on Instagram, and it's like it's a harder community to gain.
Oh yeah,
like the followers and the subs and those sorts of things, and gain the trust of like you'll like my content. It's more people. I think you touched on it perfectly with like the ego side of things, where people think, oh, he doesn't deserve my sub or follow, or his content doesn't relate to me. And I think it does affect a lot of people. Even like a follow on Twitch could be massive for a lot of people, especially with like the affiliate and that kind of thing, and it's free to do, so I don't know why people wouldn't.
I think this is what I want to try and change in the community at the minute. I feel like it's we're doing this for fun. We're making free content for guys to enjoy, sat at home, sat at their computers. We're not charging people money. You're streaming, you're paying for all this equipment to stream, to have fun. Like, for example, what you're doing, raise money for charity. It's an amazing thing, but you still get that one person who's negative, or who won't follow, or who won't share the streams. It's just, I've never understood it. Like back in the day, we'd find a content creator and we'd be like, we found a montage someone made, we'd watch it and be like, mate, have you seen how good this guy is? And we'd share it around. And then that's how we become friends with people. Like, we'd want to make friends with these people because it was a smaller community. But I feel like the community is so big now and so saturated. There's no like love or loyalty. It's almost like, he's better than me, I'm not going to like his videos. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like that's where it needs to change. Like, just show support to your friends, man. Like, you don't know what people are going through in real life as well. A sub or a follow could mean the world to people.
Yeah, and I think especially on a lot of platforms where it's free, I don't understand why people, even if you're not going to go back on that Twitch channel, for example, like I say, that follow could be pushing towards someone's goal or their aspirations. So it does affect those people.
100%.
So I know that you touched briefly on Never Noble, which I obviously know about. Do you want to go a bit more into detail in terms of the team itself?
So I originally started it. It was an idea of mine, 2010, where I wanted to get all the old school guys together in one team, which back then was pretty impossible because, everyone was doing their own thing, making big videos, making big montages. And, you can't blame people back then. Everyone had their own goals and stuff like we were just talking about. And then it come around to about 2012 and when I was playing competitive pro mod and I was like, right, I need to make a team for, we went to an Insomnia and I think it was I-43 went to. So I made Never Noble, which come out of the name Never Noble. But then I somehow sort of thought I'm going to sort of make this competitive and see if I can ask some of my old friends to get involved, see if we can, grow the team, make it a bit bigger. So I got, I think we had Zerka involved in it at one point, and we had ACOG IV, we had Dutch, we had all the big sort of players. But obviously, promo come to an end for a lot of us, and then it sort of, promo sort of died, and nothing come about of the team. And then sort of a little gap opened up last year, and I thought, you know what, a lot of these old school players are potentially going to come back to play Modern Warfare because obviously the name Modern Warfare, I thought it was going to be more like COD Modern, COD 4. So I saw a little opening there and I thought, I'm going to message all my old friends because I stayed in contact with them all and they were all on board with it. So, it sort of took 10 years for it to happen, but I'm sort of glad it did. And now, we've been going for, I think it was a year in February, I think we've been running for now. We're doing good, man. I mean, it's a slow process. It's like anything nowadays. It's if you don't enjoy the journey, there's no point in doing it. It's fun going from 0 subs to 1,000. It was a grind. That's one thing I would say to people. If you don't enjoy the journey of doing something, don't bother doing it. I'm not just going to go, I wish I had 100,000 subs. Like the fun is getting to that 100,000 subs. So it'll come in time. The team will grow, and we're growing by day and by week. It's a slow process, but. Yeah, it's a team mainly full of like the old school Call of Duty snipers, which probably a lot of people don't know about nowadays if you just started playing COD, which is, it's fine, it's fair enough. But, they're the main reason why the community is what it is now, in a way. We got the likes of Zigriz, we got Kai, we got ACOG, we got Dutch, we got quite a few big old school names in there. So, and obviously, about the team, you were in Never Noble for a while.
Yeah, so just to touch on that, like, one of the best that I've, sort of in teams wise that I've been involved with. There's still a hell of a lot of people that I stay in contact with, like, including yourself.
Yeah.
Even when I made that step, the next step, or sort of within my personal journey, you say these people are friends for life in terms of what you look for within an org. So it's not always necessarily about the followers or subs or anything like that, because even like the YouTube videos that we did all as a team, the one that I was involved with was the red versus blue side, and little things like that where you're all involved and you're all striving to hit content and you're all pushing each other and all jumping on together as a group, and I think that does remind me of the old school sort of like community, and the way that you'd be set. I think it was Skype back in the day, actually. I think everyone used to jump on Skype. And yeah, just reminded me of that, going back, getting 6 of your pals and saying, look, let's jump straight on, let's get on this, let's do this. So I think that old school feel does benefit you guys because you've lived and breathed that, back in the day, the exact vibe and where to, so even the new guys coming in that want to produce the same content as you guys in terms of like the sniping and hitting feed, but then also collaborating together. It's really good for them experience wise. I mean, it's helped me a lot in terms of how I look at editing videos. I still get the editor that does my videos, still edits my videos sort of with that old school montage feel with it, because for me that works. That's how I want to produce content,
in my opinion. Like exactly. I love that old school vibe. And like you were saying earlier about you left and you sort of got on with your own journey and joined other orgs and tried bettering yourself as a streamer and stuff, which is amazing. And we've got them old school mannerisms where we weren't just going to fall out of contact with people. Like a lot of people have left the team, but we're still going to support people. Like that's what we done back in the day. It ain't going to change now. And I feel like a lot of the guys who are in the team are not like these 16, 17-year-old guys who are just new to the scene, who they only care about themselves and growth and, joining the biggest orgs and stuff. We're all like mid-20s. Some of us are even in our early 30s. And, we're just here for the ride and just to, make friends and have fun with it, man. Like if we get somewhere, we get somewhere, but, we ain't going to stop.
Yeah. No, exactly that. And I think that benefits you guys in terms of once you get people within the org, they know that loyalty's there. They know that they feel comfortable. They're obviously making content which betters themselves. And like you say, with me moving on, I didn't feel awkward moving on. I didn't feel uncomfortable after I left. Like everything was such a smooth transition. Everyone, like I say, everyone I still stay in contact with. Dutch, I speak to Dutch on a regular basis. And that's someone that like back in the day that I was watching on YouTube, and like yourself, and you're watching them and you're thinking these are like incredible snipers and these are what you're aspiring to be.
Yeah.
And then like you say, it's that community vibe of, once you're friends and you're within that, sort of group, it's not something that, okay, well, you're not in that group anymore, see you later, we're not going to support you anymore. It's that whole, you support me, I'll support you, and everybody grows.
Yeah, I think that's what we
mentality.
I think that's what we built the team on, sort of just like support. And like when I first made the group chat, I basically just said like, right, let's make this team grow and we'll all naturally grow with it. Like let's just support each other. Let's do what we enjoy. If you want to play WoW or League of Legends or COD, do what you do. I might not watch the content. I'll still support your streams. I'll still share your content. I think that's the main thing what needs to change nowadays. It's a big thing for me. Like I feel like if I can win over some people by helping, I feel like I'd rather be known for someone to change something small than not change something. I don't want to be one of these teenage boys back in the day who grew an ego and just, don't reply to messages, don't help their friends out. And, I feel like a lot of people need to change and get that attitude in their head in the community, whether you're in teams or not.
I mean, even like we touched on, a follow, a retweet, a like. These are free things to do. Like, it doesn't cost anything. It takes seconds of your time to drop a retweet, a like, those kind of things. So, again, I think it does come back to the ego side of things in terms of how they feel that they're better in terms of their content journey or that kind of thing. And it's not a good trait to have, especially within this sort of community, because there's people that are at the top that have grinded through the years of when the community was like what we're speaking about. So they're not gonna like that sort of ego and that sort of vibe. So you're never going to be able to make that next step. But we'll get into the next question. So the best content moment that you've had to date.
Best content moment? Oh, that's a good question. That's a tough one. Probably, I remember I'd done a video with Zerka, Danish Freak, and all that. I think it was my 20k sub special on my channel. And I mean, it's old. I'm a teenager. I'm proper young in the video. Like, I probably don't even sound like I do now. But yeah, just to like look back on it and think, there was Patchy, there was Zerka, like, and back in then when I made it, it wasn't like a big deal. But I look back on it now, I think, you know what, like, that guy owns the Sidemen. Like, he's huge now. Like, and for me to look back on videos of that and think, we were good friends and we played, and I feel like that for me is probably my favorite content moment. It weren't at the time, but it is now, 100%.
Yeah. I feel that like when you're in that moment and you're playing with these sorts of people on a daily basis, you don't necessarily appreciate the height of it. And like you say, you're looking back on it now and you're thinking like, wow, these are people that are like huge within this sort of scene. And someone like yourself, you are still a huge part of the sniping community, the content in general, to a hell of a lot of people, especially like myself. So you are still within that bracket, so it's but it's nice for you to look back and say, actually, like, that was good. So I think that kind of touched on sort of next question. So would that be the same in terms of like the best people that you've worked with? Would that be the same sort of group?
Yeah, probably. I'd say probably Zerka. I mean, you can probably see in the chat here. There's Brad in here. Brad's run. I don't know if you guys know of Top Cod Shots on YouTube back in the day. Top Cod Shots. They were
Yeah,
like,
that was ringing a bell.
yeah, they used to upload like daily clips, insane clips and stuff. He's another great content creator. Yeah, I mean Grizz, obviously he's in the team. You know, he's a part of a lot of the team targets we're making at the minute. I mean, even him sending clips in for team targets and us watching through them, it just still blows my mind. Like, you know, things like that. It's just like his play style and the way he is. It's just that I don't know. I feel like a lot of my friends who I play with now, I'm just so thankful to have. Like, they've been a massive part of my journey and, you know, the content I make, and I'm just thankful for them all. Really, I can't really put a name forward of my favorite. I think everyone in the team. I think the whole of Never Noble, really. You know, a bunch of old school guys just doing what they do best.
No, I can appreciate that, especially like I say, I was in them, you know, and I've experienced it firsthand, so I can huge vouch for that because there is some amazing people in there.
Yeah.
So we'll go for a different question. We have got one more after this, guys. But we'll go for a sort of different question. So you touched on parts of your content journey that you've quit, and that you've came back, you know, years later. And like you say, you were working with people like Zerka back in the day, who's gone on to be, you know, a huge part of the Sidemen, and YouTube in general. Do you regret quitting within those times in terms of content?
Yeah.
I know we touched on it briefly in terms of like you enjoyed having that IRL, you know, that social side of things when you were growing up. But in terms of content, do you like regret stopping, or
Oh
do
yeah.
you regret not
100%.
making time to do like bits of content here and there?
Oh, 100%, mate. Like, that's probably my biggest regret. I know a lot of people will probably say, yeah, but you know, everything happens for a reason. You know, I met my girlfriend I've been with for nearly 8 years now. I've got, you know, we've got our own place. I've got 2 dogs. I can't ask for anything more, but you know, I fully regret stopping, because who knows where I'd be if I carried on. You
Yeah,
know, I was looking back on it now, I was probably one of the top subbed UK gaming COD YouTubers in the scene back then. I mean,
yeah,
2008, 2009 to have, you know, that was when Fred, I don't know if you guys remember Fred on YouTube, he hit 1 million subs, which nowadays is people have got on their second channels, you know.
yeah,
It's crazy. Like, but to think 40,000 subs back then, and then my YouTube got hacked, and then the pro mod side of stuff. I wish there was an older me could have told a younger me to go, you know what, just keep doing it. Even if you go out and enjoy yourself and, you know, find the job you wanted to do and work and find your missus, still find 3 days a week to play and upload content, because, you know, it would have helped me grow a lot more than, you know, than having a long 6-7 year break from doing it. I think that was my big downfall.
okay. That's I think that's quite interesting because, you know, we've touched on it again. The people that you worked with back in the day and where they are now. It's interesting to think that where you could have been, you know, in terms of if you stayed and put the time in back in the day. But again, at the same time, you know, if you don't enjoy the content you're doing, it wouldn't necessarily be the best content that you feel you're bringing out. So it
Yeah.
could have been a negative as well in terms of, you know, so it could have been negative, could have been a positive, but it is good to
Yeah.
sort of touch on that. So we'll get into the last question. So, if you had one person that you could work with within the whole community that you've not worked with previously, who would it be?
I've probably got. I don't. Well, I'm guessing you guys know who TGF are, right? You know TGF.
Yeah,
Yeah, so probably Jay from TGF. Like, I'm a huge TGF fan. I've got like merch, everything. Like, I love TGF, and I put a tweet out maybe a year and a half ago. I tagged Jay in it. I think I bought one of their hoodies or a hat or something, and he inboxed me being like, "Bro, like, you're the reason I started YouTube," and I was like starstruck. I was like, "Wow." And you know, we just get on so well now, and I've got his number, and we chat, and he texts me, and we WhatsApp each other, and I'm like, and it's like I'm such a fanboy of their stuff, and if I could be in one video of theirs, or even just go to watch them film something, it would just make my
yeah,
life. They're just such funny guys, man. I mean, obviously, like the UK YouTube scene is just, you know, you got to be English in a way to understand the humour, but they're just top guys. He's such a genuine guy as well. But yeah, it's got to be TGF.
Yeah. You see, that's always an interesting part of this podcast, because every single person has different people that they would like to create content with, that they aspire to be like, all based on personalities. I think that I've known you for a while now. You're exactly the same. You're like a bubbly character, a funny guy, like, so that would suit you perfectly going into something like that. But again, it's opportunities, isn't it? Like you're saying, fingers crossed that at some point you do get that opportunity.
Oh yeah.
But we'll call it there. Huge thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for having me, man.
Huge thank
it's
you.
been good fun.
We've took up quite a lot of your time, but no, I really do appreciate you coming by. This was something that we've had planned for a couple of weeks, and you were one of the first people that I messaged when this idea came up, and we discussed it. So I really, really do appreciate you coming on.
No,
and thank you for everyone that came by as well, in the chat and the followers that have dropped. Appreciate you all.